Hi, Carol Jacoby here. You ever get data where it has stuff in it you don't need and all the stuff you need is all clumped together? That's typical for data meant to be read by humans. Lots of good data, but it's not in a form you can use. I'll show you how to get it into a form Excel can work with. I'm going to use filter, text to columns, and a couple of different text and date functions. Here's a real-life example that I'll work through. I'm thinking of getting solar power and I need to know how much electricity I use. How much does it vary seasonally? How much do I use in the winter? How much in the summer? Also over the course of the day, how much do I use during sunlight hours and how much at night? So I was able to get a whole year of hour-by-hour electrical usage data from my electric company. Got it in CSV form and dropped it right into Excel. Great! Well, not quite. Here's an example of what you might get. Check it out. To work with this, you want it in normalized form, where each row is a specific item, in this case an hour of usage. You don't want these extra lines. You also see the dates and hours all mushed together in a single cell. You want dates and hours pulled apart into separate columns. Let's first deal with these spurious rows. We want to filter this, so first select the whole table. Because of the blank rows, you can't just click inside it. You have to actually select it all. So select the columns you want. Now find that filter icon. It looks like a funnel. It's up here under Home on this Mac. In Windows, you'll find it under Data. Now we can filter on any column. Well, let's take the first one. We can filter out the rows we don't want, like the blanks. Also, we don't want all these that start with data. Whoa, there's a lot of those. Well, there's an easier way that's more direct. Open the menu that says Choose One. You notice Excel sees this column as text. It doesn't see that it's dates and times. And that's good, because now we can do text things to it, like filter on rows that begin with something. Begin. And all the ones that interest us start with 2020 or 2021. Anyway, they all start with 20, and none of the useless lines do. So let's filter on the rows that begin with 20. There we have it. All the rows we don't want are hidden. But those hidden rows can cause us problems if we do pivot tables and so on. So let's copy this into another sheet. Select the whole thing, copy, add a new sheet, paste. Notice there are no more hidden rows. We just have the rows of data we want to use. Now, one caution here, if you change the original data, this sheet will not be updated. But we're okay here. This is historical data that won't be changing. Now, we want to be able to pull out dates and times so we can see how electricity use varies between seasons and from day to night. Specifically, we want this date right here at the beginning. For the hour, we just need the first two digits, 00, 01, and so on. That's all we need. I'll show you two different ways to pull this stuff out. First, we're going to use some of Excel's text functions to pull out the date and time for each row. Let's insert 4 columns so the usage, our key outcome, is at the end. Now, that's too wide. Let's make a date column over here. I'm going to pull out the date for the first row here using Excel's left function that takes the leftmost characters of a text stream. I'm going to write a formula that is just that function. Every formula starts with equals to tell Excel, here comes the formula. Next is the name of the function we want to use, left. After that, open parenthesis, and then the arguments, the stuff Excel needs to perform that particular function. Hey, nice, it tells us what it needs. First, the text we want to use. That's this, just click on it. You don't have to type in the cell number or anything. Then type a comma to go to the next argument. The number of characters. Well, we want to pull out 2020-12-01, which is 10 characters long, including the hyphens. Okay, 10. That's all the arguments, so close the parenthesis, let her rip, enter or return. There's the date. Now time is buried in the text, so we'll use the function mid. Really all we need are the first two digits of the time, 0, 0, 0, 1, and so on. So let's enter that over here, equals mid. Now click on the text, that one cell with the text in it. Start number, let's see. 10 characters for the date, the space is number 11. So our first character is number 12 in the text stream, 12, comma, then the number of characters. We want 00, 01, 02, they're all 2 characters long. 2, end of arguments, close parens, return or enter, we get 00, that looks good. Okay, we've got the first line, and there's only 8,000 something to go. Well, because these formulas refer only to cells in their own row, we can easily autofill. You can take the lower right corner and drag it down. Even easier, whenever you're next to another column, just double click on it and it'll go all the way to the bottom, filling in appropriate formulas for each row. Time for a check. Pick a row at random. Did it pull out the right date? The right hour? This looks good. Now let's go back and I'll show you a different way to do this, which, by the way, is a good way to take care of that example I showed you at the beginning. Which technique works best on your data depends on the form of the data you have. Now we'll need some room, so let's move the usage data out of the way. We're going to need a bunch of columns here. Select the column by clicking on its header, then go under Data and find Text to Columns. We get a text wizard that will break this single column into multiple columns. That's what we want. We have a choice of fixed width or delimited. If we try fixed width, it breaks it into equal-sized chunks. But we want to be able to get at that little 2-digit hour. Go back. Now we get to choose delimiters that will determine where it breaks. The data is separated by a space, so choose space. The hour is separated from the rest of the time by a colon, so let's also use other and type colon. Oh, it's already in there. Those first 2 columns are just what we want. Finish. Note that the usage column has not been overwritten, so we're okay. Now we just delete those columns we don't need. Label the columns. There we have a nice table of electrical usage by date and hour. Now I'm going back to the one we did with the text formulas. So we've pulled out the date and time using one or the other of these methods. We also want to look at what month or day of the week it is and be able to ask questions like, what's the maximum or average electricity usage in, say, December? Do I use more electricity on the weekends? So let's add a couple columns to note those things for each row. We can use the functions month and weekday. Let's put month over here. Enter the formula equals month, open paren, click on the date, close, and enter. It works. Excel is pretty smart. It figured out that the text that we pulled out is in fact a date and it understands it. Similarly, we can find the day of the week. Equals weekday, open paren, date, close, enter. Autofill these down too. There we are, a nice table. Now we don't need this first original column anymore, but if we delete it, Excel gets mad because we're referring to our calculations. Undo. Here's a trick to keep the results of the calculations without having to drag everything around with it. Select the column you want and copy then immediately do a paste special. You find paste in the Home tab, select it, select from the pull down, choose Values, and it looks the same. But here's what Paste Special Values Only does. It gets rid of the formulas we use and replaces them with the values. See? That's why we don't have to carry around that messy column we started with. Now we can delete it. Now we're ready to apply pivot tables and learn about our electrical usage. For the details, see the video Analyzing Electricity Usage with Pivot Tables. Here's some of the results from that. If you'd like to learn more about how to deal with data and draw answers out of it, check out excelfordecisionmakers.com and the link to the class, Getting Answers from Data Using Excel for Mac or Windows. The link is in the description. I'm interested in your comments. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.